Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games, back with another cool pinball repair video for you this evening. We have been working on this really fun, really cool Williams Pat Hand pinball machine. We did a few videos on it already where we worked in the back box, we worked down on the mech board down in the bottom, and we worked on the Playfield. And so the only thing that we've really got left is whatever's hanging under the Playfield here. And then this chime set here. The chimes sound horrible on this thing. It may be the worst sounding chimes I've ever heard. Let me see if I can use this block to illustrate. That one ain't bad. About the worst I've ever heard. So we're going to be working on that. We're going to make them sound like some of the best you've ever heard. But yeah, so let's run through this pretty quick. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to replace all of the light bulbs. That's kind of cool to do first because as you do that, you're basically working over the entire playfield, and it's simple. Anybody can do it. So you just take out the light bulb, put in a new one. We take out the ones that are number 44 bulbs, which were what was usually in them when they shipped from the factory. And we put in number 47 bulbs, which are a little bit dimmer, just slightly. You can barely see it. But they run 40% less power, so they use less wattage and they make less heat, so it helps a little bit long term. They're slightly dimmer than the original ones, but it's barely perceptible to me. But that's one thing that we do. So I'm going to go through and replace all of them one at a time. And as you do that, when you go through, you get to look at all the wiring, and you know, if you're down here, you might notice something's messed up, or if you're over here, you might notice something's messed up. So it's a good thing to do to just kind of, you know, inspect the entire playfield as you go along. Another thing I do is, as I pull out the bulbs, you'll see that the lens is usually dirty, so I clean that up. And you can do it with a Q-tip. Sometimes you can just dust it. I use a little chip paintbrush to just dust it, but you're just cleaning that up. The cleaner that is, the better the light will shine through the board, the better it'll look. So if I run into anything strange there, I will let you see it. Let me see who keeps texting me. Don't we all want to know that? So I went through and replaced all the light bulbs, and while I was at it, I cleaned all of the switches. We use a little worn out file to clean them with between the contacts. I got all of those cleaned, got all of the light bulbs replaced, and I just looked at everything, gave everything a nice once over as I was going through. And I think most of it's pretty good. These pop bumpers, on this particular video, you haven't seen the playfield down yet, but this is a very unique playfield layout. There's two pop bumpers down in the bottom left, and one kicker, and then there's a bunch of targets that you roll over, actually. Right. So I checked all of them just to make sure they're properly adjusted. When it goes down, it moves the small blade as the contacts touch each other. So all of that seems cool. We rebuilt these pop bumpers whenever we were working on the playfield, on the top of the playfield on a previous video, and those seem to be fine. The flippers actually seem to be fine. We're going to play it a little bit and see if I need to replace the links. There's a little wear in them, but it's not a ton. It's just a little bit. And whenever they're brand new, they have a little bit of wear in them. So we'll see. If the Williams flippers are usually exceptionally strong, so they may be fine the way they are. If they aren't, what we'll do is replace the plunger. I mean the nylon sleeve is like 15 cents or something, 50 cents, and this link and plunger, which is about $7, something like that. So it's not a big deal. We've got a third one down here as well. So we'll play it a little bit first, though, and see if we need to do that. Now, one thing that we noticed on the previous video is this bonus unit. We were trying to get it to reset, and this bonus, just, you know, to see if the game would start after we worked on some stuff on the mech board. And the game, you could see this just moving just slightly, like this, and it wouldn't reset the spider. However, if I mess with it, and I did on the video, by hand, it would just reset fine. It also steps up fine. So the actual physical movement of the stepper unit, this is the bonus unit, works just fine. It's just it doesn't, this was just barely moving. That could be a sign of not enough power is getting to it, right? So the way that moves is this coil gets energy, and then it creates a magnetic field which pulls this plunger in. That's how the coils work, right? And it was just doing it a little bit like that, right? Almost like it was stuck, but clearly it's not stuck. So why would it do that? Well, something in the powertrain to that coil is dirty, not letting enough power through. I'm wondering if it's this switch right here. There's a switch that when this goes down far enough, it opens that switch. So I wonder if that switch had anything to do with it. But I'm going to look on the schematics and just see if anything jumps out. Of course, we're going to clean it and everything, but I just want to see if there's anything obvious that would have made it do that. So here are the schematics. And I'm liking what I see. So the bonus reset coil, that was just barely pulling in as if it wasn't getting enough power. On one side, it's connected to power. And on the other side, to connect it to the other side of power, it has to run through these switches. Well, two of the switches that it runs through are the ones on the score motor. That's what the little circle means. So cam 4A and the impulse cam switch A. So cam 4 switch A and the impulse cam switch A. Right? So whenever those close, it will connect power and make that coil pull in that was just barely pulling in. Well, whenever we tested that, we had already cleaned the score motor. But there's two more switches here. The bonus relay has to pull in, and the double bonus relay, depending on where it is, one or the other of those switches will do that. So for the voltage to move through this, the bonus relay has to be in, and the double bonus relay has to be clean. So I believe both of those are underneath the Playfield, and I just cleaned them. So if those were dirty, whenever we tested it on the first video, either that relay or that relay, it may let a little power through, maybe 5 volts instead of the 30 or whatever it is that it wants, 24. Maybe 5 volts or something instead of 24 volts, and that would cause it to just barely pull in because of a dirty switch. You clean the switch where now the full amperage can go through the switch, and maybe your whole 24 volts gets through. So this is the bonus relay. If one of those switches was dirty, it would cause that, possibly. And then the double bonus relay is here. So if one of these switches was dirty, it could possibly cause that. So I went through and cleaned all of those relay switches, and we'll see if that fixes our problem where the bonus unit didn't have enough oomph to reset. But I'm going to go ahead and clean it as well. We need to clean that one switch, which appears to be properly adjusted. When it gets all the way back, it opens that switch. And then when it steps up one, it closes the switch. So when I move the big blade, the small blade is moving too. That's because they're just merely touching. That's how you want it. So that's probably to turn off the reset relay whenever the game starts up. So when the game starts, it pulls in the reset relay, right? It also pulls in the 1 and 2 player reset relay and the 3 and 4 player reset relay. Those reset the score rules, okay? And it also, through the game over relay, takes a credit off, etc., etc. But this will stay in. The reset relay will stay on with the switch on itself. So when it pulls in through here, it's going to pull a switch in. I mean, the whole relay will pull in. So one of the switches on the relay will provide it power through one of these 3 power sources. One is the index switch on the score motor, right? One is a switch on the bonus relay, and one is the 16 0 switches on the drum unit, the score reels. So if any of those are closed, the reset relay will stay on. So that switch on the bonus unit isn't involved there. However, it looks like it may be on the bonus relay, maybe. So there's a switch on the bonus relay that will also keep the reset relay turned on. So let's find if we can find that switch that's actually on the bonus unit. I wonder if that's a typo. I don't think it is. So this is pretty interesting. So the bonus relay pulls in through a switch on the score motor if the out-hole relay is not on. When the out-hole switch is hit, that pulls in the bonus relay. Okay. So the reset relay will also pull in the bonus relay through that switch on the score motor or whatever this runs to, right? Once it pulls in the bonus relay, it turns on a switch on itself, which stays on until the bonus unit gets to 0, opens that switch on the side, which would allow the bonus unit to turn off. Once that bonus relay turns off, then that switch opens up because the bonus unit is turned off. And if all of the drum units are back to 0, those switches are open. And as the score motor turns, that switch will open. And eventually, it will kill the power through here and allow the reset relay to turn off. So it's not that switch that's holding on the reset relay. It's that switch that's holding on the bonus relay, which is in turn holding on the reset relay. That's simple, right? Y'all followed that, right? Got that all shined up. So we'll leave it all the way up so whenever we try to start a game, we'll see if it has the juice to take it back to the beginning. Okay, so next up, I think we're up to our chimes. I've done a bunch of videos on repairing chimes, but let me pop these out and put them on the desk, and then we'll make them work better. These are cool because you can just unplug the whole unit. Makes it easier to work on. So this is such a cool little setup, and all the companies did something similar. But so basically, if it pulls in the coil, it pulls in this plunger. The plunger has a little plastic tip on it that overshoots because it's hanging down underneath the coil. So since there's nothing to stop it, it just goes too far and goes through it. If you lock it on, it'll eventually go and kind of stick in the middle, right? But it overshoots just enough to hit it one time, right? Now the reason it sounds so badly is because there's supposed to be a little rubber washer in here to keep it isolated from the metal. So what you're hearing is this metal slapping the metal of the frame. And if you look closely, there's actually well, it was mostly down under it, but there's metal shavings all over the place because the metal is beating itself apart. So that little shiny dust you see, that's all metal shavings from this unit, which I guess the whole thing's made of aluminum, which probably they use just because it sounds better, right? So the way you fix it is you basically just take this all apart and put some little rubber grommets in there. Now you can buy the actual ones that they make at all of the parts places. Marco Specialty sells that. Also, our buddies at the Pinball Resource sell that. So you can get that stuff anywhere. But once you isolate that plate so that it can't hit the metal anymore, I'm just shoving trash in there. We'll see if that'll do it. I don't think it might not do it because it might be too tight. Actually, they need to be a little bit loose. But so that's no longer going to have the metal hitting the metal. Let's see if it sounds any different. A little better, right? Better than right? I mean, I'm sure you all get the problem, but you can just, if there's something in there keeping it from doing that. you get a better sound. Right? So that's your problem. Now, also in the middle of them on these little bars, there was like a plastic covering. It's like just a piece of plastic tubing. The whole purpose of that is so that the bar doesn't hit the metal piece that sticks up through the plate, right? So that's covered in plastic. It's just some kind of plastic tubing. It's like aquarium tubing. And then up here on the top, this is a nylon washer. So you really only need the rubber piece underneath. See the dust there and how the nylon washer fits over it? So you don't really need anything on the top. Once you put a rubber piece in here, it will kind of be like that, which it'll stay a little loose, but that actually makes it kind of peel better. Like it has it'll ring longer. If that drives you crazy, you can tighten it up to where it doesn't move as much, and you'll get more of a boom, 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 like a muffled hit. It'll sound just like that, boom, boom, boom. All right, so I'm going to take it apart, clean it up a little bit, and then we'll see how it is once it has new rubber bushings in it. All right, so the wiring looks fine, and the plate's all cleaned up really nice. So what I do is I just put a little pinball ring under there. Easy peasy. And that's enough to isolate it. But you want it where it'll still move. See how loose it is? If it's like that, it'll peel. I'll show you what I mean. They just sound a lot better. Now if you get it where it's not loose, you don't get the same, and you could play with it and get it somewhat loose, I guess. But it's just, you want it to ring, don't you? So that's going to sound awesome in the machine. Perfect. Love it. So all of you people that thought this was a junky machine, I know you all want to buy it now, but you'll have to just get in line, all right? All right, I'm making a list. Look, I'm talking so loud it's resonating through the box. Hear it ringing? Through the box. Crazy. All right, I'm going to go mount it back in the machine. All right, so let's see if any of it will work. We still got to do some cosmetic stuff, but we'll have to make a list of whatever functionally doesn't work too, so we can fix it. Okay, so the first thing I notice, ball and play one player can play, so we're still in gameplay. Maybe not. So there should be a game over light on. Yeah, nothing scoring. Why are we not in game over? So let's hit start and see if it resets everything. Okay, same problem we had before. The bonus is not resetting. Hear the ticking. Okay. Score motor's turning constantly. So that's our clues of what must be the problem. So now it's not trying to pulse that. Okay? Now the bonus unit, remember it has to be in. This is the bonus relay, and it is in, so that part's working. I'm going to just push that in a little farther just to see if it has anything to do with it. Apparently that's not it. Okay, the next thing I'm going to try is I'm going to trip the double bonus relay. There we go. Okay. See it slowly doing it? All right, let's figure out what's going on with this. Okay, so this was not working, right? So I pushed in the bonus relay and it didn't change anything. That was already in. And then, remember I said I'm going to trip the double bonus relay. So I did. Now, see this normally closed switch, the switch with the line in it? That means in the normal state of this machine, which is basically the double bonus not being on, it's like this. But whenever you trip this, what would happen is that line would now move over to here. Okay? So when I tripped that, it moved it to here. And then it started working. Because that was allowing the power to come through here, and instead of going up through that route, it went through this route. Right? And so it worked once I did that. So that means this switch is fine, and this switch here is fine, but it's either this switch is messed up or that switch is messed up. Now, why do they do it like that? It's just the way they have the bonus set up. If you have the double bonus on, they basically want it to step down the bonus one time or whatever for I guess one time every time that it rotates around, and it's going to give you 2,000 points or whatever. But if they have it up here, it's on the impulse cam, which is going to pulse 5 times as it turns around. It's going to go bam, 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 bam. So it's going to give you maybe 500 points every time it drops down. They're thousands, aren't they? Let me go look. Yes, so each time it drops down, it's supposed to give you 1,000 points. But if the double bonus is on, it needs to give you 2,000 points each time it drops down. So if the double bonus is not in, this is the other part of the schematic. When the bonus relay pulls in and the score motor is turning, if the bonus relay is in and the double bonus has not been tripped, so you're getting single bonus, that runs through the impulse reel, so it'll hit it 5 times, bam, 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 give you 5,000 points, bam, 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 bam. At the same time, it's going to be dropping the bonus unit 5 points too, bam, 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 on the as it moves down. You know what I mean? So it's going to drop it 5 positions, and it's also going to give you 1,000 points 5 times. So you're getting 1,000 points each time. Now, if the double bonus is pulled in, it only gives you 1,000 points here for a... No. It only drops at 1 position here, right? So, the score motor's turning, and it's turning from home position to home position. So as it turns, if the double bonus is on, it's only going to drop 1 position, because there's only going to be 1 place that switch connects. If it was on the impulse, it would connect 5 times. So it would reset it 5 times. But it only does it once if the double bonus is on. It drops it down 1 time. Now the way the other end of it would work is, as that's happening, this switch here, if the double bonus relay is on, would also throw. And so instead of giving you 5 pulses of 1,000, it's going to give you 1 pulse of 1,000 on score motor cam 1C, and then 1 on 2C. Right? So it's so confusing because it's backwards than you would think. You would think, oh, well, to give you twice as many points, it'll have to go a lot faster to give you a double bonus. It actually goes a lot slower. So it goes down 1 point, 1 position, and gives you 2,000 points, and then down another one and gives you 2,000 points, and down another one and gives you 2,000 points. If it's giving you 1,000 for each one, it just goes bam, 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 and you get 10,000 points that quick. But that's pretty typical. That's how they usually do it. Okay, so what is our problem with the bonus unit resetting? Well, either this impulse switch is not adjusted right, or this switch on the double bonus relay is not adjusted right. So one of those two switches is wrong, because once it's connected up here, it doesn't work. Either that's a bad connection or that's a bad connection. All right, so this is the impulse cam. All right, that very bottom switch is the one that makes it impulse. So I'm going to touch it with this file. Right, it's right here. I'm going to touch it with this file, and if the small blade moves, that means I've got it up on the ramp as high as it can go. So all of those should be connected now, or disconnected, or whatever they do. That particular one should be connected. So I'm going to tap it and see if it moves at all. If it moves at all, it means they're not actually touching. It looks like they're touching, but it might not be. So let's see. Here we go. So I'll do it from the back. I can't tell. Is that moving? If that's moving, they're not actually touching. They're just real close. I think it's moving, isn't it? So that could be the problem, that connection right there. And then we'll look at the double bonus relay one. Okay, so this is the double bonus relay. And there are two sets of make or break switches. See this small one here, and the big blade, and then the small one there. As this moves, notice how it goes back and forth. We're looking at these three blades right here. Right? And then if you look, there's another set right there next to it. Okay, so what's going on is, if it's like this, it works. If it's tripped, it works. But if it's like this, it doesn't work. I'm wondering if that one's not touching this one. So let's see. I'm trying to do it how the machine would do it, so we get a good look at it without getting my finger in the way. No, it's definitely touching it. Yeah, that's definitely connected, and that's definitely connected. Okay, so it may not just not been clean enough. You can always have the option of there's a broken wire or something, but who knows. Okay, you also have the situation where that switch is up here, and then the two switches that it goes through on the score motor are down here, so it has to go through the Jones plugs. So if you've got a bad connection on your Jones plug, one of them isn't clean, that could be the same thing. And then it goes back again to connect it to the the bonus unit, right? But the bonus, we know that connection, we know the connection from there to the bonus unit is working, because whenever I trip it, it works, right? The double bonus thing. All right, so we're going to lay it back down and try it again. All right, let's try it. All right, so why was it turning? Because I had been messing with the score motor, so it turned back to home position. We're still ball and play one, player one. So that might be something we need to screw around with. So let's see if we get anything different. Oh, I did it a little bit. So we've got it. It's kind of touching. Kinda. Now what's going on with this here? Why is this doing what this does? So it's continuously kicking the ball out. Okay, so you saw that it counted the bonus down. It just did it pretty weak, and it stopped for a while and then kept going, right? We'll figure that out. But we got this thing where it just keeps trying to kick the ball out even after it kicked the ball out. So how does it do that? Okay, so here is the ball release coil. As the score motor turns, eventually this switch will close. That's what's actually kicking it, right? And where it comes from is, see this little arrow? It says 2BW6. That means a black wire, or blue wire. I always get them confused. Black or blue. with a white stripe, and then the 6 means that it's the 6th instance of a wire with that same color in the machine. So there's BW, BW2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At C7, so they're saying that the signal is continued up the schematics at C7. So this is 6, this is 7, and then C is about right here. It says at the end. Then you see that says to BW6 at C15. So the out hole relay, as long as it is pulled in, as the score motor turns, it will keep trying to kick that ball out, right? The score motor is turning because if the out hole relay is pulled in, it will power the score motor. So the out hole relay being stuck in is our problem for that. So then you got to look at, well, what makes the out hole relay pull in? Let's see if we can find it. Here it is. So the out hole relay is pulled in by the bonus unit being at its 0 position, right? And then so as the score motor turns, if the bonus unit is at 0, these two things will be connected, and that will fire the out hole relay. That will pull it in, right? And then it will hold itself on through a switch on itself until this switch opens. It also has a way to do it. Well, no, these are just another way. This is also how the that coil holds itself on, and how the 50-point relay holds itself on. Okay, I know this stuff's kind of deep, people, but I'm trying to do the best I can to explain it. So what's going on here? So as the score motor is turning, and you know, a bunch of different things can start the score motor turning, it will close the switch. If the bonus unit is at 0, see the 2 dots? They're showing you those are rivets on the side of the bonus unit, stepper unit, right? If it's at 0, it will, well, what in the world? Where was I? No, here. If the bonus unit is at 0, blah, 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 it will hold the out hole relay on. Okay, well, think about that. That means that the out hole relay would just stay on all the time until you scored a bonus. But that's not what's going on. The bonus unit does go to 0, but then it's supposed to step back up 1 position. So it moves off of that bonus unit 0 position thing, right? I had someone mention that in one of the videos recently, because I've talked about this a lot of times, and he made a good point that I never thought about. It has to go to 0 or you wouldn't score the last 1,000 points. Now, they could probably figure out a way to do it a different way, but basically, so you got 3,000. It's got to go from 3 to 2, 2 to 1, and then 1 to 0. I'm going to get this all screwed up. But basically, it goes farther down than it has to, right? That's just how they work. So, what does that mean? That means that the bonus unit is supposed to step up when it gets to the bottom. When it steps up, it will move off of the 0 position, which means that the out hole relay, as soon as this switch opens, will no longer have a way to hold itself on, and it'll stop trying to kick out the ball over and over again, right? So the problem is the bonus unit is supposed to step up 1 position. So how does it do that? Well, it also has a 0 position that as the score motor turns, that connection on the 0 position will make it step up 1 position. After that happens, the advance relay is what makes it step up. So that's like whenever you're scoring, if you score a bonus advance on the playfield, the advance relay pulls in and it makes the bonus unit step up. But it should step up on its own when it gets to 0 position. So basically dirty rivets or something like that will make this happen. It could also be this switch on the score motor. Remember, we think that we've got a dirty one right now that's making it not do all of the resets that it's supposed to. So this one says it's on 6A. So that is, strangely, the cam right next to the one. So this is the one that we think is messed up, that I cleaned, but I maybe didn't get good enough. It's the one next to it. All right. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to mess with this one, get it a little tighter, and I'm going to get that one a little tighter. So basically, when it gets to where it closes, that it's closer together and it makes a better contact. We'll see if that fixes our problem. All right, so the switch at 6A that helps it advance 1 point appears to have been the problem. And then, if you remember from the very first video, just above that is this switch that had a hole burnt through it. The contact had fallen out. And it looks like it's been like that a long time, or somebody tried to repair it or something, I don't know. But I went ahead and swapped that out. I keep tons of just used switch parts just for stuff like that. So let's see if it's any better. I think we got a whole bunch of stuff left to work on. So it went down. And then went back up. Did you hear it do the out hole thing twice after it had already kicked it? So that still might be something going on. Okay, it says one player can play, ball one. It's not flowing all that great. Watch. Okay, so it's stepping back up like it should. We're ball two. It's advancing like it should. Back up the ball, back up the bonus point, bonus 1,000. Ball in play three. These pops are awesome on this thing. Mark probably loves this thing. Look at those pop bumpers, Mark. Okay, so that's the last ball, but it kicked it back out. It shouldn't have done that. Or maybe were we on ball three? I don't know. Something ain't quite right. Look, we also have the lights not working up there. That's how it's supposed to do. Okay, so it's still got lots of little quirks, so we're going to have to do another video. So we'll end this one here. I'm pretty sure, though, we've got that figured out, but we've still got the out hole, it seems like, kicking twice. And sometimes at the end of the game, after the game ends, it kicks the ball back out. So we got to do that. I got a whole list here of stuff that I've noticed that's not right on it. We'll do that in the next video. So I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to leave your comments below. Give us a thumbs up for taking the trouble to film it for you. We didn't have to do that, people. Make sure to check out our website. Go to lionsarcade.com, where we have prices, pictures, and descriptions of all of our arcade games, pinball machines, and jukeboxes that we have available for sale at the moment. And we also have a parts page on there with links to some of the stuff that we sell or that we use as tools in our videos. A lot of those links are to Amazon, where little products that we use from Amazon. If you buy any of those products or anything, after you follow those links to Amazon, it gives us a tip. So we appreciate everybody that's been doing that. And last but not least, don't forget to check out my brother Donnie. My brother Donnie has his own channel here on YouTube. We work on arcade games, pinball machines, and jukeboxes. My brother Donnie works on old buildings, old vehicles, and he has a farm. So I'm over there with him on his channel, but I'll see you back here in a couple days with, I said this on the last video, hopefully the conclusion of this Pat Hand pinball machine. What a great game. It's such a great game. It's worth all of the trouble.